What on earth is happening with the Rocket League community right now?
Let me play! Let me play!
This is not like the bots you have maybe seen in the past. This one is unstoppable.
How fast these bots have gotten good is terrifying.
So I'll admit, I haven't been the most in touch with what's been going on in the community lately, but what I have heard has been insane, and that's exactly why I wanted to get caught up. DDoSers, bots, anti-cheat, Bacchus mod is banned, what? But it doesn't matter. Rocket League is back, baby. Record-breaking player counts, top in the charts everywhere, but also Rocket League is dead. I know, it's sad to say. So what is going on with all of this? Why is everyone so up in arms? Why are professional players and content creators so upset, while simultaneously Rocket League has suddenly become maybe more popular than it's ever been? Well, I found out, and it's some pretty crazy stuff. As it turns out, there is a lot to cover in order to catch you guys up with everything that's been going on. Firstly, if you haven't heard, cheaters have been running rampant all throughout the game, and it's only leveled up, especially recently. If you haven't run into any DDoSers while playing in the past couple years, then consider yourself lucky. You see, this problem with DDoS cheaters has been around for a while now. I actually made a video about it almost 2 years ago, but especially recently, it has been getting ridiculously out of hand. When you happen to unfortunately match up against a DDoS cheater, it typically looks something like this. You queue up a ranked game, load into a match, and at some point while playing, the server starts lagging like nothing you've ever seen before. Everything begins rubber banding around like crazy. It's literally unplayable. Now, this continues happening until you either get kicked out of the match completely or you choose to forfeit, because somehow the server seems to be lagging less when your opponent has the ball. Either way, you will lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, apparently there's been a whole ecosystem developing behind the scenes with this stuff. Basically, hackers have been creating new cheats and exploits for people to abuse to rank up, and then you have people buying those hacks to rank up to the top artificially, and then you have the people buying those boosted accounts and then losing 20 games in a row on them because these people are not very good at the game. Now, supposedly, this whole system has become so organized and efficient that the developers have been losing the cat and mouse game. New fraudulent accounts are popping up faster than they're being banned. Specifically in the case of the DDoSers, it got so bad that professional players were literally unable to play ranked without wasting a bunch of time playing cheaters and dropping a ton of MMR every time they hopped on. Now, keep in mind, all of this was happening with RLCS just around the corner. Everybody wanted to practice and prepare for the professional league that was about to start, but the DDoS situation was making it impossible. A lot of big voices were understandably upset about all this, and it culminated in a community-wide movement known as #RocketLeagueIsDead. Amidst all this chaos with DDoS cheaters running absolutely everywhere, as I mentioned, the Rocket League community was far from silent. It seemed like every day there'd be a new post from a professional player or content creator ranting about how they literally can't play the game without these cheaters getting in the way. Vatira, professional player for Carmine Corp, was especially vocal about the situation, tweeting out "Rocket League is dead" on November 18th. Followed by a short explanation of the issues that top players are facing. Fortunately, the official Rocket League status account actually replied to his post, addressing the problems and announcing that an update to improve DDoS detection will be released tomorrow. Here's what happened 3 days later. A new post from Vatira. DDoS is worse after the update. The community had had enough. Refusing to let the game they love go up in flames, a movement was started involving all the big names you could think of who were active on X. #RocketLeagueIsDead was trending, making it impossible for the developers not to take the situation seriously. Fortunately, it wasn't long before the community received a full proper statement. The very next day, Rocket League released a cohesive article which detailed the complexities of fighting this kind of battle against DDoSers. Finally, the community had received an official update. At the end of the article, they included a promise that although some attacks will slip through the cracks as methods evolve, they will be on top of it and continue to fight to make the experience for authentic players as smooth as possible. What followed this post was actually some real progress. DDoS cheaters became less and less common over time, to the point where today they aren't even considered a major issue anymore. And thus, Rocket League players could return to freely playing the game they love without interruption. Wrong. In reality, this was only the beginning. While the DDoS issue did start to fade away, it was already being replaced with a different kind of cheat, which eventually became even more invasive. If we rewind the clock back to 2023, you might remember an epidemic known as the Rocket League bot invasion. This was absolutely insane when it first started happening. It was the very first widespread cheat that entered Rocket League, in which players figured out how to get third-party AI bots to play for them in their ranked games. Somehow, these cheaters would inject a machine learning bot into their game, and it would entirely control their car without them even needing to touch their controller. Suddenly, anyone who installed this cheat could instantly rank up to Grand Champion overnight, and thousands of accounts did exactly that. Fortunately, Psyonix was really on top of this issue back then, and they banned literally every single account using it within just 3 weeks. Just like that, the bot problem was completely eliminated. But now, fast forward to the present day, and things have definitely changed. Not only have the cheaters figured out how to avoid getting banned, but the bots have gotten so good that they are officially better than the best human players in the world. The line has been crossed. Robots are better than humans at Rocket League now. You guys know Beast Mode, player for NRG, world champion last year? He lost 17-3 to a bot. This isn't Joe Schmo we're talking about. This is a top 10 player in the world. And in 2v2 and 3v3, the bots are just as good with insane team plays that are almost impossible to read. Now, fortunately, this specific bot, which is called Slater, that's been going around beating all the best players with ridiculous score lines, this isn't the same one that's terrorizing all the ranked games, so that's a really good thing. However, there are other bots that easily reach top 100 and exist in about half of the games being queued at that level. Its movement, reaction time, and playstyle are still totally inhuman, so it's not hard to spot AI when you're playing against it. In this clip from 1v1 that went viral, the bot does a quadruple wave dash off the kickoff. 4 wave dashes in 1 second, and yeah, that's just not fair. So just when one cheating method begins fading out, another one comes in to take its place. In the 1v1 playlist, the percentage of games you'll play against bots at the highest level is easily well above 50%. So for that reason, most pros have just been avoiding it entirely. And in 2v2, it seems to vary a lot depending on the day, but by most estimations, it's about half of the games at Supersonic Legend. So yeah, it is pretty brutal out there. But hey, some good news. SpongeBob is in Rocket League now. Give it up for SpongeBob. Come on. Now, with all of this happening, you would think that Rocket League would be at serious risk of a boycott or a massive decline in active players. I mean, who would look at all this happening and think, now's the perfect time to play Rocket League? That looks like so much fun. So what if I told you that during all of this, Rocket League is simultaneously having a huge resurgence and reaching new player count records that haven't been touched in over 5 years? Well, that's exactly what's been happening at the same time. And it's all thanks to one guy. This guy. You probably don't need me to tell you who Jynxi is, but if you don't know, Jynxi is one of the biggest streamers in the world, and he recently started playing Rocket League as a completely new beginner. Along with introducing his own huge audience to the game, he's also influenced a bunch of other massive creators to start playing as well. Rocket League is totally trending, more than it has in a very long time, and to an extent that honestly I never thought we'd see again. And what caused it wasn't even a huge announcement from the developers. It was literally one guy who decided to start playing. So in the middle of the biggest cheating crisis Rocket League has ever seen, it is also more popular than it's ever been, or at least very close to it. This really is great news, but it certainly hasn't stopped high-level players from ranting about their situation on social media. Fortunately, the bots that have been taking over have been ranking up so fast that it doesn't really affect new players that much, but the experience at the top hasn't changed one bit. It's still unplayable, as many people have put it. I can only imagine how things are going on the developer side, but it must be such a weird, confusing environment. For months, the developers didn't even address this crisis publicly, which only made everyone even more upset. But eventually, it was revealed through a leak that they did have something in the works to stop this crisis after all. At the beginning of February, an ex-user by the name of CaseOh made a post about something big they discovered recently. When searching through SteamDB, they found some peculiar additions to a future update for Rocket League. New files with names containing EAC, Rocket League _EAC. Some of you might be wondering what this means, but others will know instantly.
Easy anti-cheat coming to Rocket League.
Easy anti-cheat was leaked, and apparently people found out that they actually put in easy anti-cheat.
Given the context of Rocket League being owned by Epic Games, who also owns Easy Anti-Cheat, it makes complete sense that they would combine the two in order to stop the crisis going on. What a perfect idea, you might think. Why didn't they do this sooner? Well, in reality, this may seem like a no-brainer with only positives coming out of this edition, but the implications of it actually go way deeper. I won't go into the details about how anti-cheats work on the back end, but it's safe to assume that with this edition, you can say goodbye to any kind of plugins or mods that you may use. And that, of course, includes Baka's mod, the mod that has enabled so much Rocket League content over the years: training tools, cinematic tools, broadcast overlays, new game modes. All of it is incompatible with anti-cheat. To no one's surprise, Rocket League released an official article just a few days later, stating that anti-cheat is coming to Rocket League and is just a couple months away. And they detailed exactly how it's going to be implemented. On the bright side, there is going to be an option to launch Rocket League in offline mode without easy anti-cheat, which is honestly so clutch for people like me who truly rely on these tools to make my content. But still, it is over for any quality of life plugins that players use for online matches, and a lot of people are really upset about that. Fortunately, the developers are aware of the main tools that people have used all this time, so they do plan to add some of those as real features into the game at some point. But I mean, Baka's mod is such a huge tool with so many uses, it's unrealistic to expect everything to be added natively into the game. It's a tough trade-off. On one hand, another huge part of the community is getting the chopping block. First it was trading, now it's Baka's mod. But the upside is that the cheating situation will finally be resolved and we won't have to worry about that anymore. Right? Well, not so fast. While the addition of anti-cheat will certainly help with reducing all the hacks people have been using, it's not the silver bullet that you might expect it to be. Other games that have anti-cheats enabled continue to face new waves of hackers from time to time. At the end of the day, it's still an arms race between hackers finding new methods and developers shutting them down. Not to mention, lots of people consider anti-cheats to be a huge invasion of privacy, simply by how they function. They don't just detect your inputs into the game, they monitor your entire system for potential threats. Understandably, that doesn't sit right with a lot of people. I don't pretend to know everything about how anti-cheats function or how reliable they are, but a lot of people are pointing out that this won't be the perfect cure for all the hacks going around. This screenshot started circulating, supposedly from one of the hacker communities, that basically said they're not even worried about anti-cheat, and they already have a method to bypass it. Yeah, that is concerning, if it's true. This truly is such a pivotal moment for Rocket League's future. If it's successful and the cheaters truly go away, that would be such a huge win. But if it doesn't work, then you've basically cut off another part of your community with pretty much no benefit. I've got one more update to share because in the middle of me making this, Rocket League did provide some more info about what to expect with anti-cheat. There's not a ton of big things to talk about here, but they did mention that when it comes out, it won't be a one-patch fix. It's an ongoing effort to not only detect the cheats that people are using, but also remove the incentive to cheat by changing the season reward system and canceling suspicious matches and things like that. So even if all the cheaters don't just magically disappear as soon as it releases, it's not evidence that all hope is lost. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure there will be a lot of discussion in the comments already, but please always remember to be respectful though. A big thank you to my YouTube members for the extra support. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.